Hi guys, welcome to another episode here. Mike reviews the UFC. I'm going to get right into the breakdown of the co-main event this Saturday's fight night, only on UFC Fight Pass, the main card. It's going to be number 13, Marcin Tybura versus number 8, Andrei the Pitbull Arlovski. Just 3 fights into his career, Tybura has won his last 2 by knockout. One in a performance of the night, knocking out Victor Pesta in the second, and third round knockout of tough Luis Henrique. This proves he can go into deep waters and come out with a knockout. He has an 80% finish rate over his career, and he has incredible accuracy. As you can see right here, almost 50% accuracy. Arlovski, of course, is one of the most, if not the most seasoned heavyweight MMA history. His debut win, if you can remember, in the UFC was way back in November of 2000. Most people weren't even watching the sport back then. After gaining his footing in the UFC against some stiff opponents, he knocked out Ian Freeman, Vladimir Myashenko, and Wesley Cabbage-Carrera consecutively to earn his first title shot against Tim Sylvia. He would win the title by knockout on February 5th. He would successfully defend the title twice before a rematch with Silva, where he was knocked out by Sylvia in the rematch. 3 months later, in July 2006, they would have a brutal third rematch. It was a close fight. Both men were exhausted. Tim came out with a unanimous decision. Arlovski would win his next 3 fights, one of them including Fabricio Verdum. Seemed like he was getting himself back into title contention, and he jumped ship. Elite XC and Affliction were throwing some money out there to some of these fighters right back then, trying to steal some of UFC's roster, obviously. So he stopped off over an Affliction, got a third-round knockout over a tough Ben Rothwell. Then over an Elite XC, knocked Roy Nelson out in the second round. That set him up for a big payday against Fedor in Affliction. He would get knocked out by Fedor in the first round. Then he'd show up in Strikeforce and lose 3 in a row. Man, he went from hot to not very quickly. About 3 years in feeder leagues, including World Series of Fighting. He earned his way back into the UFC. Starting on June of 2014, he reeled off 4 victories in a row against Brendan Schaub, Antonio Bigfoot Silva, Travis Brown, and Frank Mir. 2 first-round knockouts in that time, and a performance of the night along the way. That earned him a shot at Stipe Miocic. So he was knocked out by Stipe in the first round. Everybody's getting knocked out by Stipe. GDS just got knocked out by Stipe. It's incredible, but Arlovski's lost all 4 of his last fights. Yeah. You got to think this is a do or die again for Arlovski. How many has he had of these in his career, though? These do or die fights. I do see Arlovski dusting the cobwebs off one more time and coming out with the late knockout. And he's a 2-1 underdog. If I'm a betting guy, which I don't bet on these because I don't have the money, but I put a couple $100 down on Arlovski if I'm going to put it down on anybody as an underdog against an unproven fighter like Tybura. I really see Arlovski probably taking him out, I would say, in the second round by knockout. But who knows? Then, after that, I think he's been hit enough in his career. I think he should retire right then in the ring, in the cage. I think that would be perfect, and see him go into acting or something else. Seems like he'd be a great actor, at least a great character, like a vampire or an MMA fighter in movies or something. Seems like the guy could probably act. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of MMA Mike. I hope you guys enjoy these fights. If you don't have UFC Fight Pass, you can get a free trial right now. Just go to UFC.tv. They got, I think it's a 7-day trial right now. If you haven't taken a trial before, you might be able to get a 30-day, but that'll at least get you this fight. Otherwise, it's only $10 a month. You got the whole UFC library. I mean, to me, it's worth it because I watch a lot of fights. But I hope you guys enjoy this fight, and I'll be breaking down a couple more of these soon. Have a great week.